So Monday morning came, and I called Centra to see if they had the results because I hadn't heard from them yet. And they said, "Oh, we called and left a voicemail." I was like, "What? I never got that." But now thinking, I don't have voicemail set up, so that's why I didn't get the voicemail, because there's no voicemail. So anyway, turns out, and this was really it was really hard for me to hear, but there were no results that were telling that would result in me having issues because of a deficiency. The only thing I had was a slight vitamin D deficiency, which I do know now is characteristic of people with multiple sclerosis. Doesn't mean I have multiple sclerosis. Doesn't mean I don't. But it was nothing that would mean that it's as simple as a vitamin deficiency. It's something else. And that was really disheartening because I was really hoping it was just an easy fix. But at this point, ER, chiropractor, and blood work did not reveal anything. So the next step was a neurologist. And I told my dad, and he said to me, "Well, did you find any neurologists in Lynchburg?" And I was like, "I already heard that appointments take over a month in advance to make, and they're very hard to find. So as hard as it is to type, I'm not really going to take the time to go look through all these names." And he's like, "Okay, I'm going to find one for you." I was like, "Okay, thank you." That conversation was a lot longer and a lot more emotional, because I was like, something's wrong with me and it's not a little thing and I don't know what it is, and it was just more unknowns and less answers and another step to take to just figure it out. And he contacted me the next day to tell me that I had an appointment for that Friday. The concert for band was on Thursday, and on Friday I had an appointment with a neurologist. So on Tuesday I was going to be doing some groceries, fruits and vegetables mainly. So I went to the corner market, and my roommate Olivia and I were going to go shopping, but she was doing homework, so I went to the corner market, and that's where I used to work. And one of the chefs, who was my coworker beforehand, started asking me, like, "How are you doing?" Just catching up with me. But the more questions he asked me, the more ambiguous my answers became, because of the fact that this new hand thing was potentially going to change a lot. And what that would mean is, I don't know that I would be able to be a student next semester if this didn't go away, because I can't really write, can't really type, so it would be really hard to do things. Having a regular job wouldn't quite work out if I can't really use my hands. So he's asking me questions like, "Are you working somewhere? Are you a student?" And I had to be like, I don't know, because I didn't want to lie, but I also wasn't about to go tell him what's going on, because how do you even explain that in small talk? But as I started to give him more details, he started to say, "My wife has gone through something similar with numbness and tingling." The more and more we talk, the more I'm like, that sounds a lot like what I'm going through, or something similar. And he tells me her name. Her name's Jessica, and I told him to tell her that I was going to be praying for her, and if I could ever meet her, that'd be nice. And he's like, "Actually, I think she just walked in." I was like, "What?" So I got to meet her right there on the spot, and it was awesome. It was awesome. She talked to me a lot about what she was going through, and I got to know a lot about her. And I told her, by some miracle, I have a neurologist appointment scheduled for Friday, even though they're not usually able to be scheduled for over a month in advance. And she was like, "Who are you going to go see?" And I told her the name of the neurologist, and her eyes got wide, and I was like, "What?" And she's like, "You need to be careful. That person is bad news. Like, I went and saw that person, and then when I went to UVA, they told me, don't listen to anything this person has to say." So I was like, oh wow, like, we thought this was an answer from a God that I got this appointment, but now it seemed like God also wanted me to meet this woman to find out that we need to be careful about what we were told through this neurologist, which was also disheartening. But I got to know this one. I got to know Jessica over time more. She added me on Facebook, and I started to find out more and more about what her family had been going through because of reading her blog. And suffice it to say that this family has been through a lot, and their faith is incredible because of the struggles that they have faced that far surpass my own. And Jessica was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis in February, and she can empathize with me and then some, because she's been going through a lot, but she also has a very young baby that she gave birth to recently, and children to take care of, and homeschooling, and a food truck, and it's a wonder she gets it all done. But God is sustaining her, and that's my issues are so small in comparison to hers. But Thursday rolls around, my dad gets in for the concert. I sit through the concert, play the best to my ability. I get to hang out with him that night with some of my friends. The person behind the camera right now was one of my friends. We all went to Applebee's and had not good food for us and enjoyed each other's company. And the next day, I went to the neurologist, and the neurologist couldn't quite figure out what was going on, so I was scheduled for MRIs 2 weeks from that appointment. So that's 2 weeks, again, of dealing with the hands and everything. But my dad was in so much pain because of something that was happening in his back, to the point that we had to go to urgent care after that. So these few days that my dad got to be with me, was it last week that the concert was? 2 weeks ago? I'm not sure. But really recently, I actually had to take care of him. So he came to help me out and just to see my concert, but he was in so much pain that I ended up taking care of him, which was actually a really good thing, because I was forced to do things that I thought I couldn't do. I cooked for him because I wanted him to eat well, and I realized, okay, it's hard, but for someone else I can do it. And I wasn't quite motivated to do it for myself, but now I know that I can, even though it's hard. And he left Sunday night and Sunday afternoon, and he got to go with me to my church gathering, which was awesome because I love my church so much. And then he went home, and his pain started to lessen, which was really awesome. But he called me the next couple of days and told me, hey, I found out that the insurance does not cover your MRIs in Lynchburg at all, so you're going to have to fly to Miami to get the MRIs done. And I was like, what? I really don't want to do that. But I am flying to Miami to get the MRIs done. I'm flying tomorrow to get back the 16th, and I'm going to be getting a brain and neck MRI to hopefully give us some answers about what's going on. And since then, I've just been living with this thing that's happening in my hands and in my arm. It's hard to do a lot of things. That's true. I can't open water bottles. I can't do it. It's very hard to use my right arm since it's basically strengthless. My hands are pretty ineffective. I can't play my instrument anymore, which is a big bummer. And there's a lot of things that I can't do. But throughout this process of dealing with this for the past month, I can't say I've been necessarily reminded of everything that I can do, although there are things I can do. Like I can walk 10 miles, which I did on Saturday, so I know I can do it. I can run 5 miles, because I did it 2 days ago on Sunday. I can do those things, and I can't play my instrument, but I can sing, and I love singing. But that's not the point. The point is, I've been reminded of how desperate I am for God to sustain me emotionally, spiritually, which are things that I should constantly be aware of. But now, I have had a newfound dependency on God like none other. I've always been physically active. I've always been relatively healthy. I'm like the healthiest I've ever been, the fittest I've ever been. Physical lack of independence has not been something I've ever dealt with. And as independent as I am, it has sucked. I feel so pitiful and pathetic, and I hate it. I hate needing help. I hate having to pass people the water bottle for them to open it for me. I hate that I can't grasp things. I hate that I can't do peace signs. I really hate it. But it has forced me to accept that I need help with things. And it's forced me to accept help from people, to accept love from people in the form of help. And it has forced me to have to be kind of dependent. In a lot of ways. Physically is one of them. But even financially, just wondering, how am I going to do this? If I can't have a job, how am I going to pay bills? How am I going to be a student if I can't have a job to pay for the bills to be a student, and at the same time I can't even write or type? How am I going to be a student? And there are a lot of unknowns. There are a lot of questions. And throughout it all, the truth is my faith has grown. The first week that all of this happened, well, not the Tuesday that it occurred, but the following week, the weekend of the week that it happened, I heard from a worker at the coffee shop that there was this guy named Luke who came in and read his Bible like every day for hours, and how cool it was to see him doing that. I thought, wow, that is cool. I've never seen him do it, but I thought, wow, that's so cool that he reads his Bible. And I was like, I want to read my Bible more. Why didn't I go in and read my Bible in the morning? So I did it. And I read my Bible for multiple hours a day that entire week, and I've never done that in my entire life. I finished all of Matthew, and I read all of Matthew, finished all of Matthew, and am now starting 1 Corinthians. I plan to start that tomorrow. I just read all of that. I've never done anything like that in my entire life. That's the most I'd ever read my Bible since starting to actually try to read my Bible when I was 16, and I'm going to be 21 in like a month. And who knows? Is it my hands? Who knows? Is it the testimony of that guy? It's a combination of all these things. But I know that had these circumstances not occurred, I wouldn't have been to a place where I read my Bible so much and my faith has grown. And truly, because I feel kind of like I have nothing, I've been asking God, like it says in Psalm 51, restore to me the joy of my salvation. I kind of feel like God has done that for me. And I'm so happy, and I wouldn't change anything for that. Yeah, I really hope that my hands get healed, and I really hope that it goes away. And on Thursday at 4:30, if you want to be praying for me, I'm going to have a brain and neck MRI. And who knows what we're going to find out. But I know that God is in control. And I was looking out the window today on the bus, and I was looking at the grass, and even though the clouds were gloomy, I just felt peace. And I realized, man, God is in control of everything, of my life, of this world, of the salvation of people, of my family, of brokenness, and of joy, of everything. God is in control of everything. And I can just exhale in that moment and be at peace because I really believe that. And because He has drawn me to Him, and I have chosen to receive Him and receive salvation, I get to live knowing that God is in control. And I just get to exist. And because I know that He's in control, I get to be at peace if I choose to live in it. And I trust God, and I get to trust Him. And so I make this video because this way I don't have to tell everyone and their mother what's going on with my hands and my arm, because it is overwhelming to talk about and to tell that whole story to every single person who asks, and feel like I'm doing justice and saying accurately what's happening, but also answering a person's question and not being like, you don't really care, so I'm not going to take the time to tell you what's going on. This way, whoever watches this video knows what's going on. I also tell you guys this because if you are someone who believes in Jesus, and you have received salvation, then the Bible says that you're a saint and that you are counted as righteous and that you are blameless and pure. And so I believe that the God and creator of this universe, He hears your prayers. And the Bible says that the prayer of a righteous man availeth much. So I would like every single person who watches this video to say a prayer, intercede on my behalf to God, tell Him that you want Him to heal me. If you do, I would like for you to want Him to heal me. And other than that, that is the main source of help that I would appreciate the most. As of right now, I have been blessed with the opportunity to have a Mary Kay business, and I started doing that because I wanted to use that as an opportunity to minister to women who weren't followers of Christ. I was like, I could not care less if someone buys makeup or skincare products from me. But now it seems like the door has been opened for me to really benefit from the financial benefits of having a business like this. And so I know not everyone wants to buy makeup or skincare products, but if you would like to buy some from me, I sell them. And if you wouldn't really want to buy any, or you would like to host a party and allow me to show the products to other people who might want to buy them, that would be great, because I don't really know how I'm going to pay for life. But even if you don't want to do any of those things, and truly, even if you don't want to pray for me, which, not to sound negative, because I would assume the people who love me and love God would want to help me in any way that they could, and knowing what's going on with my life. The thing is, regardless of what anyone else does, the same thing is true that I said a bit ago, is that I trust God and I know that He's in control. And so, no matter what happens with my hands and my arm, I know I'm going to be okay, because God is taking care of me, and He loves me, and I love Him. And the only reason I can love Him is because He loves me. So, I have no idea how long this is, but thanks for watching, and do with this video what you will, what you would like to do. I have never done anything like this, so it's kind of weird. But thank you to everyone who has encouraged me and prayed for me throughout the last month. Thank you to everybody in Wind Symphony, because I know you guys prayed for me when I wasn't there. Thank you to Dr. Kerr, because I know you love me and I know you've been praying for me. And Martha, I know you've been praying for me too. Thank you to the McDonald family, because the love you guys have shown me without knowing me very well has been overwhelming. Thank you to Natalie, who's behind the camera right now, for having your little camera skills and doing this video for me. Thank you to Katie, my Mary Kay director, for always being encouraging and always having a smile on your face, and honestly, just having so much joy. You're such an example to me and such a great leader. Thank you to my dad, for also encouraging me and calming me down when I am overwhelmed and I don't want to tell anyone, but I need to let it out. Thank you to my roommates who helped me, for Olivia, for the times you've brushed my hair and braided it, for Jordan, because I know you care about me, for everyone. Christian Marple, you told me you've been praying for me. That's really cool. Didn't expect that. My church, Ecclesia, I freaking love you guys so freaking much. You can ask anyone. I'm always talking about you guys. Just the fact that you guys pray for me. Laura and Scott, for paying for my prescriptions that ended up, by God's grace, being way less than they should have been. Thank you for being willing to pay whatever the price was for my prescriptions. Thank you to everyone who has shown me love throughout this time. And honestly, I know this is on a video, but if God is omniscient? Omnipresent, that's the word. If God is omnipresent, which he is, he's everywhere and he can hear me right now. So even though this is a video, thank you, God, for restoring to me the joy of my salvation and for, in a way, forcing me to receive love in a way that I don't like, but is growing me spiritually and is growing me emotionally. And I think I'm becoming more like Jesus throughout all of this, which is going to be a lifetime process, but I'm grateful for it along every step of the way, even if I don't always feel grateful. So in some weird way, I'm thankful for these messed up hands. I'm thankful for them because they can still hold this cup. Thanks, Daddy, for this cup. And you know what? They can still hold the Bible and I can still read the Bible. And that's my sword. And so that's that. Thanks for watching this video, and that's all. Bye.